If you want to support the channel, please consider becoming a member today. Members get early access to videos, access to all the stream VODs, and exclusive access to emotes as well. So if you'd like to support the channel, become a member today. Recently we discussed the Daily Wire is doing their own movie of Snow White starring none other than Brett Cooper. Now, we watched the trailer a little while back, but now we're going to watch an interview Ben Shapiro did talking about the film.
So we got the idea for it literally the day that Rachel Zegler did an interview in which she said that she hated the original Snow White and wanted to rip the guts out of it.
Weird.
And then Disney released those ridiculous cast photos of dwarves that were not dwarves, the multiracial, multi-ethnic, tall people and one dwarf. This is how we make decisions at the Daily Wire. I literally just emailed that to my business partner, Jeremy Boring, and I was like, we should do something like this. And Jeremy's like, okay, we're just gonna make Snow White, but we're gonna do it to all the specs, with music, with singing, with the original storyline in classic fashion that imbibes from the original well of the values. Specifically because if Disney wants to cede that field to us, we'd be fools not to take it. And we're kind of shocked by the fact that no other studio has done that. I mean, just on a pure market basis. If you have one of the most significant film achievements of all time, one of the most popular movies of all time. And
Are they, I say this every time, but are they really gonna do anything? Are they really gonna do it exactly the same? Are they not gonna change the whole like guy kissing a girl when she's unconscious / wasn't she a minor?
And the people who are making the remake of that movie in live action fashion have decided to betray that movie and say out loud. It's not even like a surprise. They're saying out loud, we want to betray this movie. We don't like the original values that a woman is reliant on a man. She's a girl boss who's going to be, I don't know, fighting the witch on her own, and the prince is going to be standing off to the side. If there is a prince at all, and if she's not a transgender, non-binary, Snow White, whatever, it would be idiotic not to go back to, you know, the thing that works and do the thing that works.
He literally is still doing the same exact meme. Oh, is it they're transgender, blah, 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 blah. Like, this is such a two-dimensional analysis of media to begin with. The reason media tends to go in a more inclusive direction is because that's what people want. That's what seems to do very well. A lot of these movies that these conservatives claim are the woke going broke are actually massive, massive blockbuster hits. So there's a good reason for that. Not to mention there's also a really big positive here, which is when you have positive representation of minority groups, it tends to make people more accepting over time. So it's true that the actress playing the Snow White in the Disney movie does seem to be pretty cringy, but you got to do something about the original storyline. You got to do something about that. This isn't like the woke liberals or anything. This is like, let's just not make it so creepy.
Yeah. In the face of the thing that clearly is not going to work. And Disney has a horrible habit of doing this. They keep taking some of the greatest IP of all time, and they're still living off the money from that IP, right? I mean, they're putting up on Disney Plus all these placards ahead of Aladdin saying this movie is super offensive, but I saw they didn't take down the movie, right? They still know that we all want to subscribe so that our kids can.
What if they took the movie down? You'd be crying your eyes out. The things that they show is actually, this program includes negative depictions and or mistreatment of people or cultures. These stereotypes were wrong then and are wrong now. Rather than remove this content, we want to acknowledge its harmful impact, learn from it, and spark conversation to create a more inclusive future together. Of course, they're not going to just take the movie down. How is this his own?
They're making money off of it, but then they'll make the live action Aladdin, make it way worse for a quick money grab. Well, if I can essentially grab, if our company can grab the legacy of the original Snow White, then why would we not do that? We should do that.
I don't think any of us expected the reaction that came with the Disney version of Snow White. There's certainly been people who have been less enthusiastic about the live-action remakes they've done. I'm definitely one of them. It was very much a case of, okay, here comes another one. Then they cast Rachel Zegler as Snow White, and you think, okay, well, it's a race swap of the character, and it seems a bit nonsensical given the nature of the Germanic legend. But okay, fine.
And the name of the movie, and the plot of the movie, and
exactly.
The fact that if you want, like, I don't care.
Conservatives do have a bit of a point there as far as, like, it's my understanding the original did describe her as having, like, skin as white as snow, and that was part of the reason why she was, like, Snow White. Her name was Snow White. So the race swapping thing on there is a little bit cringy, I guess, but I don't know. It just seems like such a minor thing to get so upset about.
about the skin color of the characters, but when the literal line from the movie is skin as white as snow,
Yeah.
And that's why her name is Snow White. So why is her name Snow White? I'm confused.
Yeah. I mean,
Because she's pure? Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Oh, fine. Okay. Sure.
And then we had the dwarves, which are no longer dwarves because Peter Dinklage got mad about it. We don't have them. And we don't even have the story about true love overcoming all because it's no longer
It wasn't true love. She was 14. She was unconscious when she got kissed. What a
about that. It's, according to Rachel Zegler, it's about
becoming the leader she knows she can be.
I don't remember asking you a thing.
you've lost everything, every aspect of the original movie, and it really just seemed like the perfect storm.
You've seen them playing around the edges of this, right? With The Little Mermaid, where it's like, okay, this is a Danish fairy tale, and that is why Ariel has red hair, and we've all seen the memes of how every redhead ends up as a black person in the Disney films. Don't be a redhead in a Disney film is the message. But okay, fine, like you're trolling for the audience hatred, which they've really been doing a lot since the Kathleen Kennedy Star Wars, since the Rose Tico stuff. And so Disney's really been playing a lot into that. People liked the Marvel movies because they actually liked the characters that were created. And now they've decided that those are not the characters they want to move forward with. Captain Marvel was boring because it's just a boring character. I mean, she can do literally everything and there are no limits on her abilities. The rules of the universe don't apply to her, and that destroys every plot line that you've ever had in the Marvel Universe. But who was on board for this? I don't even understand the logic of that. If you've got a popular character, the rule in Hollywood typically was you ride that horse until it dies, right? If you take Iron Man, you substitute somebody who's completely different from Iron Man and then call him Iron Man. People don't like that in virtually any context. Doesn't matter who even you're putting in. But they've decided that they have higher priorities apparently that make them feel good about themselves, and it's not working. But they hadn't full on just said, you know what, we hate our original movie, like hate it. And we are going to gut that, and we're going to wear its face around like a weird Hannibal Lecter mask. And that's essentially what they pledged to do. And so that's such a
Disney didn't say that. The one lady said that, who was like a little bit unhinged.
great market opening for us to put out something competitive. And obviously they got wind of that because now they've created really horrible looking dwarves who are giant, they're still giant because they had to, I'm assuming they're just pasting CGI over
over the actors, and oh man, yeah, we saw
they look
that.
terrible, by the way. They look awful. Like they rushed out that image of the CGI dwarves, and now they're saying they're delaying it for a year, and they're pretending that it's not about having to recut it and redo it and all the rest of this sort of stuff. So, little public pressure goes a long way. I would hope that Disney starts to learn the lesson. I mean, listen, I love Disney, right? I grew up on Disney. Classic Disney is my jam. We were annual pass members. We were in California for years. My family, my kids, everything. Same thing at Disney World when we had.
So basically, Ben is just like a really butthurt Disney fan. Oh, I used to love Disney. Now I have to cancel Disney Plus because they had a non-binary person in 2.35 seconds in the top left corner.
Ended up moving to Florida, and now I won't subscribe to Disney Plus because of this crap. And I think there are a lot of people who feel the same way.
Literally, how do I make fun of him and then he does it?
I think there are a lot of people who feel the same way.
Every time
It's not about putting this modern spin on it. It's not about redefining this classic story. It's just about, I don't know, having a bit of respect for the
I think that's
material.
one of the big things, not just about the creators, at Daily Web, but also the people who were casting in these movies. The reason the star system died, in large part, is because we got too much exposure to what the stars think. Hollywood really shielded its stars. The idea was that the only thing you ever saw of the stars really was on Oscar night, and also just the stars in the movies. You really didn't know that much about their personal lives. The studios really worked hard to keep that shielded. They tried to keep.
Is that true? Haven't there been like the tabloids and on the actors pretty much forever?
Scandals in the closet. The idea was that these were people who existed only in your mind and only on the screen, and so they were larger than life. And then we started getting the opinions of these people, like, oh, they're morons, just like my neighbor. This is like the annoying person on Facebook, except she's famous. So she's rich, and she's famous, and she's good looking, and she's whining about American society. I'm not interested in that. You want to destroy the star system. That's an excellent way to do it.
It's been really interesting talking to you about like where you see this whole like endeavor going.
Because if you're rich, you can't complain about the American system. Maybe there's problems with the American system you could still bring attention to.
Not just with Snow White, but with the whole idea of movie production, TV shows, and all that sort of thing, and setting up a kind of parallel marketplace to what Hollywood's offering, because they're not providing what people want. Well, someone else will.
I think the market is also moving in our direction in the sense that budgets are going to drop.
Yep.
Hollywood's budgets are going to drop. They do not have margins, and they're losing subscribers. And we are a fairly small company compared to them. I mean, we're a nice-sized company. We do, $250 million a year, but we're not Disney, which is doing tens of billions of dollars a year. And so what that means is that for us to be in any way competitive, budgets have to come down on the production of these sorts of things.
And is there any chance at all you could get Peter Dinklage a role as one of the dwarves? Can you do it?
Are you tired of the lies and the twists of the main?
Okay, wow. So basically, Ben Shapiro thinks movies are all super woke. He loved Disney, now he won't even subscribe to Disney Plus. And so that's why they're making their version. Okay.